All right. Welcome to We Are Something Else, episode 70. These are the times. Big number tonight, guys. Big number. We want to let you guys know we are picking up our Black Business Series, and tonight's special guest is Mr. Ramatu Kandakai from My Two Cents. He'll be sitting in with us tonight for our Black Business Series. So she happened to join on what should be a very different night for our show because do we have a president yet? Well, a new president-elect. We're kind of in a shaky situation. Tuesday. Let's do our due diligence, fellas. What's good? That's
Glued to
about
the
right.
TV 3 days straight, man. Like,
Right. Eve, what's good, man?
Nothing much, man. We were checking in with each other the whole time, and I really didn't turn on the TV. I was trying to stay off of the shade room, and everybody else and their mama, was going post on social media. So it was hard to kind of dodge, but I said what I said to you fellas, and I'll kind of keep it at that, just between us. It's just the way it is. You did.
Superfly. Besides TV 3 days straight, what's good with you?
I'm still here, man. I'm alive, I'm healthy, but I'm just trying to watch it. It seems like it's trending in the right direction, but
Pop said you look like you packing up like Trump.
His lighting is good today, man. The lighting is
He got on early to do a little sound check.
I had to get it together. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, that don't looking good.
But I ain't packing up, Pop. But I'm. Listen, man. It's just the lay of the land. The times that we in. But at the end of the day,
I see you repping Morgan.
All right, y'all. So let's get to it.
Oh, we lost.
He'll be back. I don't know. He got some. He's in the dungeon. All right. So let's wrap. There's not much to talk about but one thing, and there's a lot to talk about that. So Tuesday, we've been hyping election throughout all our shows, telling everybody vote. And Tuesday was election day, and we're going into Friday, and we still don't have a winner. I mean, it looks like it's starting to trend one way, but it's historic. I can't think of another time since I've been paying attention to politics that we've had an election so important and the numbers were this high, and it's taken this long. So I think Tuesday going into Wednesday, I didn't get any sleep at all. I think that Wednesday, once you realize everything has become repetitive, and it's the same numbers and it's the same speech, the maps are doing the same thing. It's probably good to go to bed because at that point nothing new is coming in, and that's what I've learned.
Yeah, you gotta know where to draw the line at. You know what I mean? Just be like, all right, I'm gonna separate for a couple hours and get back to real life. I'm saying this like I actually do it. I don't. Like if I turn the TV off, I got it on my phone. Like I'm on Twitter. I'm on 538 refreshing.
Right. I
think the frustrating thing about this is that it's not like usually sometimes it'd be like, all right, even if it was like Trump won, at least it would be some like resolution that you could just be like, okay, I know what's about to happen. Let me just prepare. But it's like with everything is just unresolved. So you're just stuck. Like, I got to keep watching. And it's just, you can't get your mind off of it.
But I feel quick. Like, I don't know. I guess I'll put my 2 cents in there. No
Go
pun.
for it. No. Go for it.
But I feel like maybe it's 2020. Like, I feel like we've been through it all. Like, I feel like I'm like numb to everything at this point. Like, I feel like I just watched the election and I know that it's going to be like a week or two. It's like nothing's easy. Like nothing has been like simple in 2020. So why did y'all think we were gonna wake up in one day and get the results? Like it's 2020. Like I expected like Kanye to win a state or something. Like I was like, any surprise at this point? Like this
Absolutely.
You prepared. Like nothing is easy this year.
Absolutely. Real quick, CB is out tonight. We want to wish CB and his brother Ryan. Ryan is getting married on Saturday, I believe. So tonight is the rehearsal dinner, and they're doing all the preparations for the stuff coming up. So we're gonna hold it down for CB. But congratulations to Ryan and Sheila getting married. They will be getting married. So so Tuesday night was a very different night. Let's start with that. It looked like it was going to swing one way Tuesday night because the numbers, the way they were coming in, was just absolutely like Trump's numbers were super high in a lot of states, and Biden was taking some here and there. But you're like, oh my gosh, this is I'm 2016 all over again, where you kind of felt Hillary had it, but it was getting ready to slip away, and this one looked like it was.
It was a bit of a yo-yo. We got sized about Florida.
Well, yeah, you're right. Florida and Ohio.
Florida and Texas too. And like it was just like, come on, man, let's come back to reality. Like, you know what this place is. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not going to let us down. They're going to come through every time. Every time you think you got them, nah, they're coming back.
And it was at 2 a.m. when Trump made his speech. Biden's speech was first, and he was saying, look, be patient. It's a long haul. We feel very good. And I'm like, that sounds like defeat to me, but he's just going to hold on just to see. And 2 a.m. Trump is like, oh, we won. This is ours. And I couldn't sleep. It's like, oh my God, here we go. But, we wouldn't be any worse off than we are now because he's already president, right? And then Wednesday started telling a different story. The first thing I saw Wednesday, was Bernie Sanders was on the Tonight Show like 2 days prior. And he told Kimmel, it's like, look, this is what's going to happen. Tuesday night, all his votes are going to come in for Trump. And it's going to look like he's running away with it. And he's going to probably get on about 10 o'clock and say, I've won. This is my victory. Mm-hmm. But he's like, just hold up, because the most important days are going to be late Wednesday, Thursday, and going into Friday, where you'll see Joe Biden pull away with this thing. And look where we are now. We're close. We're at ties in some place, right?
We right up on it.
we're right there. But like you said, it is 2020.
It is. I'm telling you, like I thought like one of the states would have had Kanye or something. Like you can't, I thought, or like I saw, what is the pipe burst in one of the Atlanta, one of the voting centers in Atlanta, like stuff like that.
That's what I thought. Yeah, it was there. I think it was a power outage in Florida. Like it was there's definitely a lot of weird stuff going on. Right. It's still a bit disheartening to see, 69 million people voted for incompetence. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like looking at your fellow, your fellow citizen. Like, come on, man. Like 230,000 people dead, and that, you know what I'm saying? That's just this year. Like
they believe that rhetoric that the Democrats are going to cheat their way in the votes. These are illegal ballots, illegal votes. You got guys jumping on in front of newscasters talking about they're trying to steal the election from us. They're going to steal it. Like the
military votes through absentee ballots every year. Like they've been using mail-in voting. Oh yeah. The entire existence of voting, and that's legit.
Right, and he wants us stop the vote in the states that he's winning, but keep counting in the states that he's losing.
Yeah,
and there's all kind of lawsuits and all that. But I say all that just to say, look, back to my point. It's still 2020, and so I came up with a list of 10 things that I trust more than 2020. So number 10. And then some of y'all may know this person, some of y'all may not. But number 10, get invited to a hotel by Rashida Moore. Superfly, you know who that is?
No.
Bitch set me up.
Okay.
So yeah, I trust getting invited to a hotel more than if I heard more than 2020.
Shout out to the mayor.
Dick Cheney is my hunting partner.
Yeah,
I trust that more than 2020.
No.
Yeah. A sleepover at Michael Jackson's. I trust that more than 2020.
On, man,
I trust that more than 2020 at this point, right?
I mean, which way are you trusting that? Like, you trusting that you're gonna be okay, or you trusting that you?
I'm trusting that. Look, I trust that scenario more than I trust 2020. 2020. Yeah, look, all these scenarios I trust more than I trust what 2020 has brought us.
Hey, Superfly was really concerned about that one.
You know what I'm saying?
Look, at this point, it's safer, right? Chris Webber was second left on the clock against the Tar Heels. I'm gonna trust that one more than I trust 2020. A sneaker raffle. I'm trusting that more than I trust 2020. Pete Carroll on the 1 yard line. I gotta trust it more than I trust 2020.
That hurts.
A woman that says she has Indian in her family. I'm trusting that more than I trust 2020. Steve Harvey picking the winner. Gotta trust it more than 2020, right? Milli Vanilli singing "Blame It on the Rain." Gotta trust that more than 2020. And then my last one, a pregnancy test from the Dollar General. Trust that more than 2020.
They say those are actually accurate. So listen, that should be number one, okay?
At this point, I trust it. So, where do we go from tonight? Where is this thing going to end? Are we going to get an official ballot? Are we going to get an official announcement tonight?
Nope.
I doubt it. Yeah, definitely nothing official. I highly doubtful we'll get even possible tonight. I think it's just more trickling of a few thousand votes and the same narrative. Actually, it's really good for TV if you haven't noticed.
Of course, the ratings. Let me tell you, Don King has been amazing through all this. Like I've been on CNN, and that guy. I mean, he's just super one way. He's not giving you the left or the right, but he's just breaking it down for you. So, yeah, I will say I do, and also I love the slow burn. I can just imagine Trump sitting in the White House. Just every time those numbers come in, just edging up little by little. He's losing control of the country, and I just imagine how he feels right now. Probably how a lot of people felt during this whole coronavirus thing. So coming back on him, and I'm whatever.
This is the least of what I want to happen to that.
Right. And how does inauguration going to go? If Trump loses, how's inauguration? I don't think he'll show up.
The most petty.
You move out the night before.
You
move out the night before and just leave the keys at the.
It's
the front
petty
desk
levels that we ain't even seen yet. Like
I agree with his things.
Yeah, no, that was one of the things I thought about. Like, he's not gonna pass it over. Like he already said, it's not gonna be just a nice little Passover. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, whatever we think that he'd do, he'll probably do something outside of that, just because, you know what I mean? Like, not shake the man's hand or, complain, at the little meeting and stuff like that. Like, it's not gonna be genuine. And to be honest with you, nobody really cares you know what I'm saying, what happens to that. Just a simple fact that, bro, you gotta move out. This is eviction. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want them to pull up and get you out of there. That's what's really gonna happen, because this ain't, it won't be that time where, I will say this, they have allowed him to do a whole lot of stuff that probably no other president would ever get away with. But I think there's certain ones that even, the hardcore is just like, on a different level. Like, that's just beyond them. But I'm not surprised by as much red was, illustrated on the states, because it's always going to be that way. It ain't going to change. It's the underbelly of America. And again, unfortunately, it's just a Band-Aid that's over a gaping ass wound that they don't want to deal with. And there's too many generations that they got to go through to fix it.
Right. And they're starting to kind of separate from him just a little. I mean, by him definitely pushing and kind of definitely tarnishing the democracy that we have of voting, saying that people are cheating. Tonight, Pence kind of just came back and said, "Look, let's count all the legal votes." Not agreeing with the president, but just kind of not going against him either, but just saying, "Hey, let's." So they're starting to separate. They see what's happening. You don't want to be associated with this guy. I mean, you need him for his popularity because you're probably going to keep your seats later on down the line, and you want his votes to vote for you. But you have to start separating yourself. The writing is on the wall, huh?
They're already talking about him running in 2024. Like, y'all got to be crazy on the right to let this dude run for president again. Do you understand the highest voter participation since, you know, all people over 18 were allowed to vote and participate in this election? He's really, you know, for lack of a better term, like awoken or, you know, woke up the, you know, majority of the country, the voting population. And the second thing is all those people who talking about how their vote don't count, but are sitting here watching CNN every 2 seconds, watching these counts come in. I don't want to hear anything about my vote does not matter anymore. Like that argument should be put to rest over what we're going through right now. Right. You understand right now how every vote actually does count and matter.
Right. You have the popular vote and you have the electoral college, right? You get elected by electoral college. And so that's part of my thing I've been saying about old politics. Like, some of these things have to change. And we're stuck now, one way or another. You would have two presidents that's going to be into their 80s through the next term. Is that Trump or Biden, right? And then you have older people in Congress. Where's the fresh blood at? Because there's a lot of young people who have a lot of ideas that could probably make the Republican Party interesting, and not, you know, that all that hate rhetoric. That's old school. That's old generation. There's a lot of young Republicans that have respect from both sides. That can, and this nation, this whole thing has to change.
There's a lot of black people that would vote Republican if they just divorce themselves from all the BS. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they just go on whatever their ideas are, low taxes. Who doesn't want low taxes? I'm not saying I'm voting Republican. I'm just saying that some of the principles would appeal to people who, you know what I mean, are more entrepreneurial, or who don't. It's a lot. We all know a lot of black people who don't necessarily want the government in their business. Like, if they would just stick to, you know what I mean, some of their principles that don't have anything to do with racism, they might, even though a lot of it's still rooted in racism, if we want to be real. Of course. But like, they would appeal to a lot more black people and have a bigger share of the vote. But, you know, who knows what they're going to be doing.
It's all about being relatable, right? Who do you relate with? At a certain, like, none of us here can relate to an 80, 90-year-old white man.
We don't trust.
Oh, actually, no, I'm just kidding.
We can't relate to that.
You just made function, you know?
That's not us.
Awesome. You got me like.
We can't. And so, to keep it interesting, there has to be familiarity. People that look like us, talk like us, it doesn't matter the color, just beliefs, ideas. All this has to change. But, you know, I will say, if Biden does go on to win, as the trend is showing, we will have our first woman vice president and our first African American woman vice president at that too. So there is a light behind all of this. And she may end up being president if, you know.
Oh, come on, don't.
I'm just saying. Look, I'm not saying anything bad, but she could very well end up being president.
Black women and black women especially, and black people in general, are really saving the democracy. Like, you know what I mean? By hook or crook, like every single big city in this country has driven a vote. Even, you know, looking at PG County, you know, as an example, almost 90% of the vote in PG County went to Biden. You know what I'm saying? I think the most votes of any candidate in the state. You know, I think we're somewhere like 310,000, like that. that beats every other county, even Montgomery, which is larger, and they haven't finished the count, but I still think they're going to beat that out. So, you know what I mean? Black people showing up, and, you know, we want to continue to hold the feet to the fire, and, you know what I mean, demand like what we want. So like, let's talk about what's next, you know, once we get through this period that we're in.
Exactly. And we've talked about plenty of times before. You put the right people in power that have your interests, right? I voted for Larry Hogan. Larry Hogan's a Republican. He's done good things for the state of Maryland. He has maybe one or two small things about him, but nobody's perfect. But I thought he handled the pandemic perfectly. I mean, so it's about what's the best interest for your families, your kids, whatever, and who's gonna put you there first. All right. So, anybody, any more comments before we jump into this Black Business Series?
I think
All right, so we're back with our Black Business Series. So for those who are just joining us for the first time, we've been doing this for all about 3 months, maybe 4. Since we've been in quarantine, there have been a lot of businesses suffering because of shutdown. Right now, they're currently shut down. A lot of things are back open, but they'll be going shut back down because of this winter coming up. But we wanted to spotlight, Black businesses that may be struggling, may not be struggling, just bring spotlight to them. So tonight, we have Miss Ramatu Kandakai. And that's for our Black Business Series. She is from My 2 Cents. So I'm going to let you just give a background on what it is that you do, Ramatu, so we can go from there.
Okay. So I actually started my business during this pandemic. So I will say that I took advantage of the free time, and I'm someone that I have a marketing background. So I'm always thinking about what's going on and how can I capitalize on it, in a sense of, what trends are going, what is shifting. So my brand is My 2 Cents, but my business, which I started, is called 22 Brand Strategies. But I wanted to highlight My 2 Cents because I started my business because my brand was starting to grow so much. And that's what I really wanted to just talk about, is that, a lot of people don't really know how they can really, you have a passion, you're doing something that's fun, and you can monetize on it. So My 2 Cents is a YouTube, I started it as just posting posts on LinkedIn because I was looking for a job, it's rough out here. And I was posting to show that I'm passionate about, brand strategy. And for those that don't know what brand strategy is basically just thinking about, the brands that you like, even if you look in the background, everybody has something they posted up. You Rich, you got a lot of brands in the back. Most people don't realize that the products that you buy, the brands that you really like, there's a strategy and there's a reason why you are obsessed with them. You don't go into CVS and get the CVS brand. You always want that. You're like, that generic brand? No, I'm good. Got the same ingredients, but the brand name is what you always go for. So I really like the psychological elements of that. And so I post about that on LinkedIn all the time. And people started liking my post and commenting. And then I started a YouTube channel because I was bored during quarantine. And I was like, there's so many brand strategy lessons in pop culture. There's reasons why you're waiting up until midnight to get the Beyonce album, knowing you could easily just get it the next day. And there's reasons why, there's just so many things that you don't really notice that you do because there's strategies involved. So I started a fun YouTube channel. I even talked about the Will and Jada controversy and how they fizzled that down. And there's just all these strategy elements to it. So it's a fun way to teach people about this and for them to learn. So I use those strategies to build my brand, and I used it to start my business. So people started reaching out to me being like, oh, I have this business and I want to build my brand. Can you help me, this or that? And I was like, sure. Let me do an LLC. Let me create a business. So I did all that during quarantine, and that's what I do now. So I basically provide consulting services for, focusing mostly on small businesses, solopreneurs, coaches. And I want to really focus on Black businesses because we've been getting hit the most, and I want to make sure that the black dollar rotates. And that's what I've been doing. So that's kind of like the short version. But that's basically it.
So like jumping in, what are some of the key, like linchpins or like key elements of what a brand is to you?
So most people always like think about like color, and they're like, oh, you do branding? Like, can you graphic designer? Like most of the key elements of a brand, yes, like the look and feel, you think about the color scheme, you think about the typography for the visuals, but you also need to think about the personality of a brand. So a lot of companies will think about, is my brand young? Is it youthful? Is it older? Are we a startup? Are we lean? So those are different brand attributes that you have that a lot of people don't think about. So brand personality, then your brand voice. So you got this brand, like how are you going to talk to people? You have to think about who are you talking to and how you're going to like say it and do it. Because when you really don't realize it, but when you look at the brands that you like, they talk a certain way to you and another brand will talk a different way too. And you're like, and so it's like little things like that. So brand voice, brand personality, the brand look and feel, the tone, those are pretty much the things I would say. So I usually call those out and I think about that. So for, I think that's pretty much that.
So for a small business, like let's say we had a few of them on, obviously. We'll say Hardy's Barbecue. They're small, husband and wife own. They have a food truck and they have a storefront. All right, and their presence on social media is, and they'll post. But for a company like that, what's some of the best things they could do if it's just them to get the eye of people listening outside of word of mouth?
So one of the things like for your brand is always think about who your audience is, because one of the biggest mistakes people make is like, I need to be on TikTok. Is your audience on TikTok? Like, no, like, I'm sorry, you don't need to be doing those dance moves and all that. Like, calm that down. So like, I think that for Hardy's Barbecue, maybe they don't even need to really be on Instagram on that sense, because it's an older audience. Everybody's mama and grandmother's on Facebook now. So like that's, like thinking about the channel you should be on first. Well, actually who you're talking to, the channel you should be on first is the biggest thing. So they're probably may not be on the best platform for who they're speaking to. They might need to be on, because it's more like mom and pop, people doing barbecues, people, older people. So Facebook would make sense, or partnerships that are offline. So like, people sleep on direct mail. Like direct mail is a big thing. So it's like maybe, like granted, I don't use them, but Bed Bath & Beyond, they're still really adamant about sending out those. But so I would use them as an example. But my point is like, having ads in magazines and doing different partnerships. So for instance, like Harley Davidson. Have you ever seen a Harley Davidson ad? Like think about the last time you saw a Harley Davidson ad. Harley Davidson on Instagram, but Harley Davidson has like a loyal following because they create communities of bikers. And then these bikers, they will do events and have like all these events throughout the year with the bikers. So it's not, so that's the difference for brand strategy. People always they're like, oh, it's digital. Everything is digital. Depending on your audience is where you need to go. And it's not always the latest digital thing that's out there.
Yeah, I think like Harley Davidson is really interesting because it's really a culture. You know what I mean? There's clothing, events, the bike itself. Like there's many elements to what Harley Davidson is. You know what I mean? So you have to, of course, cater whatever your brand is going to be to what you're trying to sell, but understand that like you can be more effective by thinking outside of just the one little product that you might be trying to push.
Got a question. What about small businesses who believe their audiences are everyone?
No. So in general, you have your target audience, and that is just like thinking about, you're solving a problem. whatever you're doing as a business, you're solving a problem. Who are you solving this problem for? Who's going to find it the most valuable? Like marketing, branding is very basic and people overcomplicate it. Like you're creating a business to solve a problem. Okay, dive deeper. How are you solving this problem? Who are you solving for? And make literally an ideal person. So if you think, if you're coming out with, you're coming out with like a mask now, with COVID and all that, but the mask is going to have like the way that it doesn't get makeup on, on it. Cause now us ladies, we get the makeup on the mask and got to throw it away. That's for people wearing makeup. That could be you could just do women. And then you could think about the certain age demographic of women, so it's like, you got to think about your target and stick to that, because a niche is going to get you way more money than trying to talk to everybody. In your small business, you do not have the budget or the time or the resources. So do not try to talk to everybody, because you're going to exhaust yourself. And then the people that aren't let's say you're trying to talk to somebody like, hey, you want this mask? If I go to one of you guys, I got this mask and it doesn't smudge makeup. You want to buy it? Come on. It's like, okay, like, and I'm putting ads on your IG and you're seeing ads for this. Like, that's not what you want. Like everything is personalized and targeted. Like, you do not want to be seeing all these ads on IG about this mask that doesn't do makeup.
We need a mask that don't mess up your beard.
Exactly, like the beard oil or something. I don't know, like it absorbs the beard oil so it don't dry your beard out. I don't know what the masks do to you guys' beards. I don't know. I don't know. This is dry and crispy. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
So for startup businesses who may have issues trying to figure out who they're targeting,
in the same place,
what's the best way to get through that? Do you just have two different target audiences and you just try to weed through them? What's the best way?
People really need to use Google. But like a lot of times I will always say this, and I will say this, and there's a template for everything. You are not the first person to think or do what you are doing. So that's the first thing I'm gonna say. But if you're like, you don't know what your target audience is, go to the problem and then type that in. People that use X, or, like start searching things that are answering the problem, or start Googling things that are questions that you would ask if you had that problem, and start Googling that, and then make associations with things. So if you're looking at like, and like the example with the mask and the makeup, all right, who has problems, with makeup smudging, or like, like all those things, and you can just Google it. If you can't think about it. And then when you find that type of person, you can literally Google persona for women between ages 13 to 15, like whatever, like millennial, like literally there's nothing you are creating from scratch. Like at all. Like everybody's mom created a template in Pinterest. Like, I don't know why people just don't like look for stuff.
Hey, listen, this definitely sounds like a business course from Morgan State. I thought I'd throw that in there, but but that's that. It's really, just to chime in what she's saying. Like, understand the first thing that they teach anybody in business or business school, if you go on that route, research, stats, like all of those numbers, you got to get all that information so you can kind of narrow down that situation. Because that, like true indeed, like people need to hear, like if you wear yourself thin, you're gonna miss that opportunity of that one person or that crowd that you needed to be focused on. And I wonder if it's, and this is kind of a question now for you, do you think it's more of the younger generation that kind of has this scatterbrain mentality that I'm gonna reach everybody, based upon now you have more of a social media platform that does kind of go out more compared to, if you will, the older heads that are on this podcast, that we had to go do like, older things where you had to go to an actual business seminar, actually, talk to somebody, this, that, and the third, where now it's almost like there's no FaceTime. Everything is just kind of shooting it out and just saying, whatever, I'll throw my hands up. If it grabs something, then I'm good. If not, I got to figure it out.
So talking to someone, I'm a older millennial, I guess. I will say, don't knock these Gen Zers, because they actually do strategize. Like if you use TikTok, right? And you go on TikTok, if you go on a certain TikTok page, you will get the same type of content on that one TikTok, because they do think about their niche more than we realize. Like I like creating a YouTube. I started creating YouTube, and I was like, oh, okay, this will be simple. I'll just do, and then I started, these youngins are teaching me how to do stuff. So they are niching things down. And once they become viral at something, they stick to that and they continue to do it repetitively. So if you look at like the big social media influencers, they know the recipe that works and they stick to it. Like they know their audience. So all these Gen Zers that do go viral, they're consistent with exactly what they do. Like there's a girl, young BBQ. She just makes like funny dance videos, but she makes sure she wears the same outfit. She makes sure she's dancing on the same street. And she has like endorsements and 1 million followers now. So like they are consistent once they get something that works. I'll say I noticed that.
How do you have to? What's the easiest way to make sure that you're sticking to a business model, your plan? Because a lot of people go in.
Oh, okay.
And they have to switch.
The easiest business model, I feel like you in general, like starting a business, doing anything in marketing, you have to be flexible and willing to listen and change. I feel like people, like you can't be stubborn and be like, nah, like for instance, like you say, this is my target audience, right? And then you put out a page and then you realize that, let's say your target audience was women for some reason that were Gen Zers. And then you create the page, let's say it was women that worked in like real estate owners and they were in the DC area. And then you create your page and then you realize it's women, but they do something else. You need to pivot to where the demand is. So that goes with your business model too. Like if you look like, come on, Netflix, look at Netflix now. Like you have to pivot to the what the industry's telling you, what the market's telling you. Netflix, you were getting DVDs mailed to you. Now look at Netflix. I'm literally been like watching Stranger Things for like the last 2 weeks now. Like they're creating these multi-blockbuster like movies and stuff. They went into streaming, they pivoted. So definitely stick with them. You definitely want to create a business model, but you definitely want to look at like what the market is telling you, because all these retailers are closing, everything's moving into e-commerce. So it's all about what the industry is telling you. So market trends and then what your consumers are telling you too. So back to the research part.
Are we past the days of big brick and mortars or?
No, we're not. I worked at a brick and mortar. COVID laid me off, but we're not past it at all. But Netflix versus Blockbuster. We're not past it at all, but I think companies need to be flexible with what's going on. I think that the bigger giants have more flexibility. I think there's going to be less brick and mortars. I think there's going to be more warehouses and more deliveries. But that's just like what I think.
I think that. Go ahead, Supla.
I was going to say around, related to the brick and mortar question, like, do you have any, I don't want you to give your business all out, for free out here to the people, but like strategies around, how to leverage like direct to consumer via, Amazon or just a channel just on your website that, allows people to kind of move their product in this like COVID world where you might not be going into a brick and mortar just because, the city is shut down or something like that. And you need to know how to pivot, around that.
So like, it's difficult to pivot. And one of the things that like where I work, we noticed was, there's a lot of people that like to go into the store and they like the in-store experience. So how do you bring that into the virtual space? So like, having like a little widget or having like, how we have video conferencing now for work, like having that as an option when you're going into online space. So like when you're looking at these online conferences, like, I don't know if you guys have gone to some, but some of them have been like you're just typing in a chat box. But then the ones that I went to that really worked were the ones that had that virtual experience, the UX design. So the advice I would give is to think about the customer experience and the UX design more. Like, don't just think you can copy and paste something that someone else has. Like Amazon works because we have patience for Amazon. And Amazon has the UX designers to go ahead and make all those filtering and stuff. But for you, you need to think about what is the user experience, and you're going to have to invest in it and hire someone that actually knows a lot about UX design. Like that's certain territories. I'll even say for marketing, everyone is not a marketer. Please stop. Everyone is not a UX designer. So like certain things, you better find someone or hire someone. It's not for you. That's all I'm saying.
So question off of that pivot real quick.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Walmart getting into that type of avenue like Amazon? Like I feel like they figured they're just as big, warehouse style. They're gonna deliver straight to people because look how many people go to Walmart on a regular basis.
I mean, Walmart's got its hands in a lot of stuff. Like they're doing the TikTok thing. They're part of the partners for that. So Walmart, if you think about your competitors, you're always trying to be one step ahead of them or be in certain spaces with them. So for me, I think that's smart for Walmart to continue to evolve, because not everyone has a car to go and do that pickup. And then that's probably been a demand for consumers for a long time. So like, you're like, oh, they're copying Amazon. People probably wanted deliveries from Walmart from the jump. And Walmart's different from Amazon. Like that goes back to branding. Like I don't know if you've ever ordered furniture from Walmart. I have. Will not do it again. But it's just like, every brand is different. So for Walmart to be a delivery service, it's going to be different from Amazon.
So we've been talking about this is the Black Business Series. You're the branding expert. Who are some Black businesses that are doing branding the right way that you think we should check out and try to emulate?
That is a good question. I will need to look into that, because I will say I definitely think that Teflar, the bag, they do purses. Mm-hmm. They're really good. Their like community is like intense. And I feel like they have like loyal consumers, and I want to say their customer service, their advertising things are kind of different. So I think they are doing things right. I'm trying to think of some more newcomers. I'm really big on hair care. So there is this brand called, and they're called, not new, but as an Ottawa Beauty. And they got a partnership with Sephora recently. Like Sephora made they're going to give Black businesses 15% shelf space on their in stores. Mm-hmm. And so that company was able to get the shelf space. But I found out about them because I YouTube a lot of product comparisons, because I have natural hair. Mm-hmm. And they have a lot of great influencers or people that are using their product too. And I think, what else? I think that's it. I would have to look into it more, but I will definitely say that I see more Black businesses not doing well in the branding space, a lot of newer Black businesses. So, and then there's some I would shout out, but I feel like they're too premature. But I will say, like, I wish I saw more Black businesses doing more of the branding that I would like. So that's kind of why I personally focus on Black businesses, because I feel like it doesn't translate the best sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
How big are these Black business communities on Facebook? Does that seem to have a good turnout? Do you think if somebody wants to promote their stuff, going into a DMV Black business Facebook group?
So one thing I'll say is, hands down, anytime you're trying to join a group or you're looking at social media, look at the engagement, because you could have 2 million followers, but you get like 3 likes or like 4 comments. So don't focus. Like I would rather so when I go on Facebook groups, that shows the activity for the day. It shows how many posts for that day. So you want to look at the number, but you want to look at how many posts they have daily. I will say that GroupMe, if you're looking for I think Facebook is great for communities. I think GroupMe is like the secret like weapon to anything. Like there's communities for, I know, like the Wave, which is like social events. There's communities for like Black marketers. There's communities for everything, and people are engaged because it's a mobile app on your phone. Mm-hmm. And people go into there. So I think most of the time, because you know, it was kind of like how Meetup used to be, but it's kind of fizzled out because no one's really doing in-person stuff. But GroupMe is like the virtual Meetup.
It's great for events. Like if you could actually do money transactions, it would be over. But you know, you still gotta lean on some of those other platforms. But
but I will say for my YouTube page, like I leaned a lot on GroupMe to like get like exposure, to get people to like watch my stuff. I built like, and I used a lot of communities on Facebook too.
How big are hashtags when posting?
It depends what platform. But the hashtag is not dead. The hashtag is not dead. I'll say on TikTok, I made the biggest mistake the other week. The For You page hashtag, like that, like the hashtags are huge on TikTok. Hashtags, music, all that. I could do a whole segment on TikTok. I won't. And Instagram, it changes. You still need to do it because people can follow hashtags and it goes into their like activities. So if I like 10 photos and they have like Black is Beautiful, then I'm gonna start seeing in my feed more Black is Beautiful pictures or content with that hashtag. So it all goes back to knowing your customer. Like everything I'm saying, like if you literally just said, I got one target consumer, what do they like? What are they looking at? What hashtags are they following? And you just do that, you're good money. It's just that people try to broaden it out too much. But hashtags are important. But it depends on the platform.
Sorry for interrupting. I feel like the stories are more engaging now on IG than just regular IG. You know what I mean? Like I feel like we're being pushed more towards that TikTok kind of, you know, consumption now.
We are. Well, stories was stolen from Snapchat. Which like, so stories was stolen from Snapchat. Reels was stolen from TikTok. So Instagram is like an example of a company that pivots. We'll call it pivoting. But I do agree, like the feed is changing, and Instagram bases your feed based on engagement, not on and that's kind of the decline of the feed happened, was that it used to be big on engagement. No, it used to be big. I used to be chronological order, and we all loved it. He was like, yeah, you know, you posted that 2 minutes ago. And now it's like, because I like this photo of this person, I'm going to see something that happened 2 days ago. So the feed, I feel like it's still there. But yeah, there's stories, there's reels now. So yeah, I feel like it's more people are going on that.
Got a question. How do you find out about different groups on GroupMe?
Because I got the plug. No, I was just trying to think. How do I find out? I think it's about being social. So I honestly think you need to ask people, and it's word of mouth. GroupMe is word of mouth because it's a lot of times it's invite only. Someone has to invite you, or you got to get that link. So talk to someone that you think uses it. And I think Google. See, it all goes back to Google. I'm sure there's something.
So social media obviously plays a big part in today's everything. Right. So for a company that necessarily isn't involved in social media, and because it could be like an older couple that start a business, what's some avenues outside of social media? I think you said mailing, but some ways to engage.
Events, definitely events, and they don't have, obviously now they're not in person. Partnerships, so that's another big thing, you know. So events, partnerships, obviously print, mail, or anything like that. And there's so many things you can mail to people. It doesn't only have to be mailing. It doesn't have to be like coupons, but that's the other thing too. Like coupons and loyalty programs are huge. Ambassador programs are big. People sleep on ambassador programs. Like that's probably one of the best ways to get people to work for you for free. And that builds loyalty too. So ambassador programs. So I guess like one of the biggest things I want to say is a lot of people focus on the promotional part of marketing, but there's also the price. It depends on placement. You know, there's other areas. So definitely thinking of like, you know, events, thinking of different ways to get people to lock in, for instance, rewards loyalty programs like Uber has done stuff like that too. Where you can, if you get X amount, gamification with certain things. So there's so many different ways to change your not business model, but different ways to have incentives and get engagement from people that's offline. Yeah, so basically partnerships, different promotional programs, different events, and then sending mail and all that. Those are different ways.
And to opposite that, how often should you post on social media to get some following or to get feedback?
So this goes back to doing your research. So like one thing about how many followers you want to get, create your goal. And you can look online for like what the benchmarks are, what that should be. But every social media platform has its own number. Most of them say post often, post at least 3 times a day. I would say like that seems to be the average amount. But for instance, on like YouTube, you wouldn't make 3 videos a day. You would make 2 videos a week, I think it says. But then you have the stories option. So you can post content and videos in that to re-engage people. Mm-hmm. But most of them are, I think, 3 times a day, but you don't need to post 3 times a day.
How do you know when to like separate your, so we all probably have personal social media accounts, right?
Oh yeah.
And then we have social media accounts to promote whatever venture that we're trying to get into. How do you know how to kind of separate the two, or where to draw the line on what you're going to share on one page versus another? And like, do you think you diminish by kind of spreading yourself out to like too many brands essentially?
So it's all about your personal brand. So, and that's basically like what you like, how people feel about you or talk about you when you're not in the room. So think about like, what people say about you. People always think they have to start their personal brand or they have to start branding. We all already have a brand. It's your reputation, what your friends, your family, your coworkers say about you. Like, oh, he's always late. That's part of your brand, whatever. So my point to that is you can weave in your you're going to have your social media page should have whatever your personal brand is on there. So if you have a coaching program and you're the face of your brand, then you need to, that would be on your personal page regardless. And it's up to you if you want to separate it. But if you're going to be spreading yourself thin, or most of your audience already follows you, then you should do that. It just depends on how you want to separate your life. But I personally feel like I would say to have 2 pages or 1. I wouldn't try to, separate it too much, but it all depends on what you're selling and who your customers are. Because if let's say let's say you are an entrepreneur and you have multiple businesses and all your businesses have different consumers. So you would want to separate them because you want to have better targeting. So like if I'm cool. I have friends from high school and stuff. And then I start my own business and I got to follow some of my friends from high school to like listen to follow my business and stuff. And some people do that and it works because they don't have as many followers in the beginning. And they know, what, I don't really use social media like that. So I'm just going to convert. But if like you want to post about your dog one day, then your business, and then you have a mixture of people, it goes back to like, you can't do something for everybody. So
yeah, it's kind of weird, especially in a small business that you're starting out. Like if you have, 100 followers per page, you end up like posting 6, if you have 5 or 6 pages, you got to post on all of them just to hit, some sort of reach. But then you're hitting the same people over. They've seen this post like 6 times, so then it looks whack. So it's like, that's one thing I kind of struggle with.
If you're a small business and you're selling like one product or you have multiple products, it all depends on, it depends on what you're selling. But if you're a small business, you're most likely selling not too many different products, or they all fall under a portfolio that's solving one need. So if you're solving one need, your customer, all these products, this one customer is going to be interested in. So it's like saying like, oh, I sell all these different hair products. Okay, but it's all hair products for this one consumer. So you can put that all on one page. But if you're like, I sell hair products for food, now we got, but you could still, let's say your consumer likes to do their hair and cook at the same time. So there's ways to mesh. I'm someone, I could put not always put two things together, but there's ways to combine things under one brand umbrella. But you just got to think about it more about who your customer is.
Yeah.
Got a question from YouTube. What part should podcasts play in brand marketing's mix?
Depends. So podcasting is great for you depending on what you're doing. Podcasting is still, people are still trying to figure out how to monetize on it, because it's like to track it, to figure it out and all that. So podcasting is great at the early stage of like building awareness and making people like know who you are and find out about you. So like where I used to work, people would come in all the time and say like, oh, I heard somebody on a podcast. So if you know that like you want to build brand awareness, like you are new to the game and you know that you can provide a lot of information, insight, that's a great way to start a podcast and provide value. People use podcasts to learn. People use that for educational purposes. So if your brand can provide that, add value to that, do that, because that's going to bring awareness to your brand and then move them down the funnel, which is like going a little bit too, but basically like moving them from like knowing about your brand to considering purchasing your brand to actually buying your brand. So the podcasting stage is more in the awareness, like who you are. Let me tell you about myself, but it's not like, oh, like, hey, like buy my product now, because you can't monetize really on it that much in the early stages. Hey, if you want to be ratchet with your friends, it's all about your brand. So like if you have a brand that is super, let's say like if your brand is something that is very conservative and your followers are conservative, and then you post conservative stuff all the time, then you want to be ratchet with your friends, be prepared to get backlash. But if you are like Megan Thee Stallion and you have the needs of like if you're ratchet all the time and you want to post it, that's part of your brand. So it just depends on how you are. I mean, Cardi B has monetized. Part of her brand is ratchetness, and it's okay because she started from the jump being ratchet. That's how she got famous. So if you are a ratchet person, be authentic. So that's the thing. If you are not authentic, and then someone catches you being authentic in the streets, that's where the problem comes in.
She was definitely about to say something about them strong knees that girl got.
Reel that one back in.
So those boost posts that come through like Facebook and Instagram says boost your post so it can reach a certain target audience. Have you found those to work?
Yes. I did the video I did so I posted the video. So on my YouTube channel, my 22 cents, I did 2 videos on the Jada Pinkett and Will Smith controversy. And one of them I ended up boosting on Facebook, and it got a ton of traction. So it does work. Facebook likes money. So Facebook is very biased to the organic reach. So in the marketing field, anything you want to get on social media, you want organic reach, which means you're not paying for it. For Facebook, you got to put dollars. So boost for sure. I wouldn't say I'm like a expert in that space of how much to boost or whatever, but it does work. It does work. You just need the money.
Like, so, as far as
a lot of questions.
Yeah. Oh, we'll wrap it up soon, right? This is my last question. I will ask you. What do you think? Merch. So it's a great one avenue to go down. Especially like for podcasts or events, things like that. Where do you draw the line? Do you think there's a limit to how much merch you should try to, put out in order to, not spoil your brand? Like, do you have any thoughts around that?
I mean, merchandise is great. You definitely you have to think about it in a sense of, do people know what your brand is? Like, why is someone gonna buy, why is someone gonna buy your merchandise over something else? Like, what is it providing? Is it because it's super good quality, or is it just because this is a regular t-shirt that manufactured? Is it because it has your brand name on it? So if it's something that you're not providing, like it's not designed, if design isn't the reason why, and you're literally just stamping your logo on it, you have to think about how big is your brand, or how many people follow you that would want to wear it, or what's the message on it. So some people, like, especially in the merchandise space, like, things that sell well are things with messages on them. So are you providing something that has messages that are tied to your brand? Or, how are you going to, so like, you should think about that. Like, what value is someone getting out of wearing your shirt? Is it because they like what the saying is, or is it because they have a connection with your brand and they want to wear it? Because if you're like, hey, I got, hey, buy this shirt, I have this brand. It's like, wait, I don't know what that is. I'm not going to rep that. Or like, no, like, it's too soon. So most people do merchandise when they have a brand, like a following, and people start asking them, like, do you got any merch? I want to rep that, or I like your stuff, I want to wear it. But when people try to push it out too early and people don't know their brand, it's like, I don't want to wear this. Like, okay. It's more so I like the graphic, or I like what it says. So if you're going to go the route early on with merchandise, think about how it can add the design, the look and feel, the quality, like some other attribute besides the logo.
Nice.
Thank you.
You're welcome. He's like, I got to redesign.
No, look, first of all, we want to thank you for joining us tonight, because we know time is something that we can't get back, and time is very important to people. So we want to thank you for joining us tonight for our Black Business Series. And I know people definitely will benefit from what you've been saying. So again, so if you just joined us or you've been watching, we are talking to Ramatu Kandakai of My Two Cents.
Yes, follow me on YouTube, LinkedIn.
Plug all your stuff. Yes, plug everything.
So My 2 cents on LinkedIn is a hashtag, so definitely follow me. All these tips, everything I'm telling you guys, I post about it daily on LinkedIn. If you like YouTube and you want to learn more about brand strategy through like fun, pop culture, all this controversy and stuff, I will be posting new videos soon, and I want to know what you guys watch, that ratchet stuff. I will teach you guys lessons through that too. And also, if you're looking for one-on-one consulting, go to 22brandstrategies.com. I have some one-on-one consults that you guys can book, so you guys don't have to get me on a podcast and have a group of people asking me questions. Just one-on-one. Yes. But yeah, I'm really searchable. Just Google Ramatu Kandakai and you'll find me.
Gotcha. Okay, so I gave you a little bit of homework. We had 2 more questions left. So this is what we asked everybody on our show.
You did.
Their top 3. So I asked what your top 3 movies are of all time, your top 3 albums of all time. We start with the movies, because the albums can kind of get a little.
Oh, I have the albums, not the movie.
Okay. Then we'll go straight.
For albums, definitely Thriller, Michael Jackson. Like all time. You said all time.
Of all time, yeah.
Yes, I feel like that's going to be my kids are going to be listening to that. And then the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill is my other one. I feel like we still haven't found like a female that can do both, rap and sing like that, and provide an album like that. So those are 2. I couldn't think of a third one. I feel like this new generation.
Those are 2 strong albums.
Yeah, I couldn't think of another one that I could really have in heavy rotation like that has like that timeless effect. There's a lot of albums. I think a lot of artists have some dope albums. Obviously, Usher, Confessions is up there. R. Kelly has a lot of albums. But I just didn't think there was anything that I could say was like truly timeless like those 2. For movies, I'm drawing.
Okay, that's fine.
I can't think of any movies that I like a lot of different movies. I couldn't think of like a top 3 movies.
Okay. It's meant to be tough. It is
tough. I mean, at least if you give me a genre, then I could find it.
That's what you gotta guess. You gotta come up with it. It's meant to be a tough question. But we thank you. Thriller is definitely. I don't know if we've heard Thriller before. I'm sure somebody said it. And Miseducation, Lauryn Hill by far. I mean, both of those albums by far are going to be classics for sure.
Yes.
I want you to hang out for us for a little bit. We got a couple more segments left, and then we'll be out of here. So now, this is where Rich, he's going to give his opinion on something, and it might be popular opinion, might be unpopular opinion, and we'll see what he has in store for us tonight.
You're just gonna throw me in the fire without that.
It's time. It's time.
No, so we're doing very well with this segment, but I'm gonna keep it short, sweet, to the point. Because clearly it's caused a lot of controversy, which draws some views and all that good stuff. But straight to the point. And I know Pops is he got his cuss word ready for it.
It's right there.
But as it says, is it just me? Or is it that ranch dressing is probably the most trash kind of sauce? It's for sauce dipping, pretty much. It's that bad.
Wait, no.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Ranch dressing is horrible.
Yeah.
Listen, you got so many consistencies of different ranch dressing, from buttermilk to wherever you get it from. They taste different. It's just the worst dipping sauce out there. But that's just me though.
Okay, I agree with Eric. What you talking about? Ranch
over
it's
like
just
honey mustard, over the Chick-fil-A sauce, over like all the different sauces that are out there. You mean to tell me that ranch is your always go-to sauce?
Ranch is my go-to if I have buffalo wings.
That's it. What else though?
If sometimes if I'm like grilling chicken, I'll put it on top of the. Yeah, it complements chicken well.
There's some poetic affair. I hate ranch.
Well, in the comments, everyone in the comments is like outraged like me. I'm gonna eat ranch tomorrow just because.
Right. I am pro mambo sauce with fried chicken wings and fries. Shout out to the DMV, but like ranch ain't that bad. It's all right. Ranch is kind of like it's like down the list though for me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like in 5th or 6th place. I like stuff like guacamole and you know what I'm saying? There's other things you can, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah,
marinara sauce, like. But ranch is cool. Like I'm not anti-ranch. Right.
Yeah, I feel like you got like you like just don't like you refuse, like it's not even on your list. For us, it's like it's on our list. It's in the mix.
Right. It's one of the tools in the toolkit.
Yeah. What do you put on your salad if you ain't using ranch on your salad?
No, see, because listen to what it was. It's dipping sauce. They said nothing about salad. Dipping sauce. If you get some nuggets, you get this, that, and the third, chicken strip or something, and you mean to tell me that ranch is your go-to? It's completely trash. It's trash. You're settling for like literally salad dressing. That's what you're settling for.
The Chick-fil-A ranch was bomb before they went with the garlic ranch. I thought they kind of made a left turn. Right.
Yeah.
I tolerate it, But they had it right before. Like that's random, I know, right? Some fat boy stuff. But the Chick-fil-A ranch.
Cleo, I ain't hear from you, bro. What's going on? See? Look at this. It's not just me.
One.
No, that's two.
That's
two. Listen, I'm trying to tell you, the ranch community, it speaks for itself. Yo, it is garbage. It is. Look, you dip your wing, your sauce, whatever. It's what is it? It's liquid. Yeah, Pops is giving me the business today, bro. I can't do it. But Cleo, where you at with it?
I mean, as far as the dipping sauce,
your dipping sauce. You getting some wings?
It's not a go-to on a dipping sauce, but it's.
Would you miss it if it was gone?
No, I wouldn't miss it.
There it is.
But that doesn't mean it's trash. It's not It's not tough.
What's the
but first
top
of all,
flight distance? What's number 1 and 2? What's number 1 or 2 E for your dipping? You know.
Well, see, now mine's a little biased, right? Because I'm always getting you got to get the spicy, nuggets, or you got to get the spicy chicken strips, right? So ranch really just doesn't hit at all. You got to get like the honey mustard, or like I said, I'm the type, I'm gonna grab the spicy chicken strips from Jack in the Box, which they just discontinue on some bullshit. But then I'm gonna go to Chick-fil-A and cop the Chick-fil-A sauce or the Polynesian sauce.
Wait,
that's hands down going down.
Partial to sweet
okay. If you can try the blackened ranch dipping sauce from Popeyes.
Okay.
See, he knew. If you can take that and then tell me that you don't like it.
Wait.
The blackened ranch
sauce. Run that back one more time. If you want me to go.
It's trash, right? It's coming. It's coming. And Popeyes to the list, Pops. Right.
No, forget it. You're like, you want me to go. Like, clearly I hit a nerve.
Like, for real? Like, you like, that's the go-to sauce if you're at Popeyes. See,
it's not the go-to sauce, but I'm saying I think you would like their ranch sauce. That blackened ranch is really good. I think
I've had blackened ranch from Popeyes. I mean, it's good. It's good. But we're talking about go-tos. I mean, depends on where you go. Like McDonald's sweet and sour is probably their best one.
Soy sauce is an underrated sauce.
That is
the spicy, the sweet and sour the spicy sriracha sweet and sour Chick-fil-A. That hits.
So again, you could come up with the top. If you came up with like Superfly top 2, you mean to tell, or top 3, hell, even a top 5. Ranch should not be in there.
No, that blackened ranch. No, but the blackened ranch from Popeyes is up there. It's up there. That blackened ranch hits.
Ranch for me is almost like ketchup. You know what I'm saying? It's close. It's like it's becoming like a staple, a basic. You know, it's cool. It's just a little more basic, but it's still not trash on me. It's just a little like it's a fallback joint.
You use the word basic with ranch, it equals trash.
And those are the unpopular opinions of Mr. Eric Walker. All right. Now here's the part where we talk about shoes. I told you it was coming. And look, now this is probably just gonna sit back and this is how we wrap up.
Okay.
But there's one more thing before we get to that part. Okay. I like to play around with that button a little bit. All right. So, fellas, the CB is out. This is normally his thing right here. Is the copper drop. So this week,
more 98, huh?
The copper drop. I know, right? I'm doing this in honor of CB because CB is a Air Max kind of guy. So this is the Air Max 97. The price point is $170. Comes out on November 9th. Should be easy. I think it should be an easy cop if you're going for it. So we go around and we ask, Superfly, you copping or drop?
It's a drop for me. I'm not the biggest fan of the 97s that much. And the colorway is a little bland for me, but they're cool because they do go with a lot of stuff. But I'm just not. They're not for me.
Oh, that's a cop. Definitely an Air Max 97 fan. I agree with Superfly. The colorway is not all that. It doesn't pop out at you, but it's definitely it's a staple shoe to rock on a maybe a rainy day or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's finish up real quick because there's a couple comments that probably should be read.
so funny. Yo, see, you see what you started with the dipping sauce? Mm-hmm.
That let's see. Okay. For me, I'm gonna cop those. Like I said, goes with everything. And I'm a 97s are okay for me. So if I had the opportunity, I would cop those. Rama too. I'm gonna ask you if you had the opportunity. Drop. Okay. All right. So this is for the soul. This is where us sneakerheads, we spotlight a shoe that's in our collection or something we just picked up over the week or however long it may be, and we just we spotlight it. That's what it is. I'll go first since I'm already up. So tonight, vintage Nike box.
Yeah,
right, vintage
from the mid-90s.
Vintage Nike box, and inside the Nike box.
Oh, are those like OG?
Nah, these weren't OG. These were for I think they were one of the runs. I think the second run, maybe third, but
okay.
Never worn.
Ooh.
Wow.
Actually DS, still actually DS. So yeah, Jordan 11, bread, one of the bigger, more popular shoes out of all the Jordan's collection.
Yikes.
Very dope.
It's cool.
I should have saved those for some because CB gone. When CB come back, he got some heat.
And to avoid the letdown, I didn't come to play tonight.
Okay,
Maybe
okay. So it's just me and E tonight. Okay, that's fine.
That's
Actually, no. It's me and E and Pops. Go ahead.
So we'll keep it right there.
Okay.
And these are actually a toss-up on whether or not I wanted to rock these in the for the pictures in the magazine. You dig? But the white and red.
Nice.
I love the threes.
Threes is just like, I don't know, man. Like I said, the threes for me is like they really haven't messed up the colorways of the threes. Now clearly I've worn these as you can see, but not as much. Trying to keep them clean as pristine as possible. Right. But yeah, the threes for me is like it could be an everyday shoe. And to be honest, I feel like this is probably one of the dopest shoes to like actually hoop in and then like get off the court and then put a different pair on a different color and you still look good.
I'm shocked you didn't go for those Kobe threes.
Listen, man, that first of all, don't hurt my feelings like that because those were hard as hell to get. Because they also what they do the sixes as well, or what were the other?
Yeah, it was a pack, right?
By the way, Rama too. He's out in Cali.
Oh, okay.
He's a Cali guy.
Yeah. Trust me, yeah, it was that. I think they did the eights. Yeah, they did the eights like that and the threes. But yeah, they came in a pack, and that. Good luck trying to get that. You had to know somebody who knew somebody outside of us knowing Pops that couldn't get it. But that and the undefeated one as well. Yeah.
Speaking of which, Pops came to play. So he sent in his pictures.
Oh,
Pops got the MTMs.
Why is it in black and white?
Crazy.
That's the shoes black and white. Yeah. So these are MTMs for Michael Jordan, Tinker Hatfield, and Mark Smith, and these were gifted to Pops from him. We'll just say him. So these were gifted down to Pops from him. So
what was the other shoe? What was that? Like a 20? What is it?
It was a 1, and I think it's a 28, 29, yeah. Around that number. It was a low.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that joint's clean.
Yeah. Super clean.
Them ones are crazy though. Like
that one.
That one is out of here.
Crazy.
That one is ridiculous.
Right.
Here we go. Finish up our comments.
Appreciate it, Pops. You dragged me through the comments, so I had to come back somewhere.
Funny.
A man shoe.
Right. And then we'll go ahead and advertise it. So we're working on a project. So I'm calling all my sneakerheads. If you're interested in this project, we start off with 25 slots. It's going down. I think we're down under 10 perhaps. We're you're interested in being part of this project, we're looking for Nikes and Jordan connoisseurs. econhill196@gmail.com. Email him and let him know you're interested about the project. And he'll follow up with you with the rest. 29s. Those are 29s.
That's what's up.
All right. So again, we want to thank Ms. Ramatu Kandakai for joining us tonight for our Black Business Series. And everybody that watch on Facebook, YouTube, IG, plug your stuff one more time, please, because people need to know where they can find you and reach out.
Yes. So 22brandstrategies.com, my 22cents.com for all my blogging and stuff. And then if you just Google Ramatu Kandakai, or if you just Google Ramatu DMV, I'll come up. My SEO is great. That's one of the pros of having an African name.
Yeah. That's great. We are something else on Google, all social media platforms at this point. Next week we are continuing our Black Business Series. We're gonna have Mr. Elijah Shaw from Icon on the show. We'll talk about him off air. But on that note, I want to leave everybody with this.
Oh, I saw this meme earlier.
Please.
All right, y'all.